Well, you know what? Being around your staff and students, I've gotten to do different things for Paul and a weekend retreat and things like that, and they're highly motivated, Paul. They're taking personal responsibility for the Great Commission on that Chico campus. I can tell. And so every campus worker right now listening or watching this podcast right now would love to have highly motivated staff and students that are not just waiting on you. No, they are taking personal responsibility, taking initiative, getting out there. They're doing the work of the ministry, the evangelism, the discipling themselves. And so what would you tell a college worker that's listening right now or watching that to say, here's how in 3 years you could have a whole batch of highly motivated staff and students that are really doing the evangelism, really doing the discipling?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's not easy, okay? But the first thing is modeling it. You have to be about that life. You have to be on the campus doing evangelism. So I have a little one-liner. I think I stole it from my dad. He doesn't want to claim it, but I'm going to quote him on it. My dad, John Worcester, he's a church planner. He says, evangelism fixes everything. And so evangelism makes your quiet times more fruitful, your prayer life more deep, your discipleship more purposeful. It actually brings life. It breathes life into your whole ministry organization. But it has to start with the staff. And it has to start with us modeling it. And really, it's monkey see, monkey do. It's I take students with me. I try to never share the gospel, do a gospel appointment, or to just meet with a student to share the gospel without bringing someone with me, a student leader, and they're watching how I'm doing it. They're seeing, hey, we share the gospel and no one died. And they get that experience and they start sharing. And what we've discovered is nothing else motivates people more than transformed lives. Yes. So when that student starts to see someone else's life being transformed, they realize this is why I'm doing it. So Philemon 1:6 says, I pray that you may be active in sharing your faith, so you'll have a full understanding of every good thing we have in Christ. So as students are sharing the gospel, and we've created a culture of conversion, even of people being brought from death to life, people want to get in on that action. And we also expect it. Because all of our staff, we won't bring anyone on staff unless they are really proven as a student leader that they are extremely motivated. Like we have to actually ask them to slow down. And we won't bring someone on staff unless they're extremely motivated and even starting to see fruit. So we have a really high standard for who we bring on staff, and all the staff are modeling it. And then we also have a pretty high standard for student leaders. We have a set of expectations. I have that in the appendix of the tips for starting a college ministry ebook. So we'll leave that in the show notes. But we have a pretty specific set of expectations. You cannot be a leader in our ministry unless you're doing X amount these things, and we call them to a high standard because Jesus said the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few. And so in order to be a laborer, you have to be willing to labor. And so having that high standard has forced us and actually caused a really good, strong layer of highly motivated leaders at the top of our organization. And we kind of move with the movers, those that want to share their faith, those that are fired up about it. We're going to pour into them. We're going to train them. We're going to bring them with us. And just over time, it becomes a privilege to be on the core team, not a duty. You know, we want being a student leader to be a privilege, not a duty. And so, yeah, I could go on about that, but I think having some clear modeling it, having some clear parameters and expectations, and not being afraid to make a big ask. Students have more time than they ever are going to have. And so if they don't have time to give 10 hours a week or 15 hours a week to your ministry on campus, they're not going to make disciples after graduation. Like they're not going to be able to have the initiative to set up a Bible study in the morning, a discipleship group early morning at 5 a.m. if they can't give 10 hours a week to being on student leadership team.
That's good.
So yeah, those are a few of the things. I could go on about that, but
Well,
I'm very passionate about that.
Yes, we can tell, brother, and we're so thankful you are. And just being around your staff and students, I can see that you have affected them in some great ways.